Now, P.S. Just so you know, I am not have a grudge against Warner Brothers and the company. I do like a lot of Warner Brothers films. It just is that I was kind of angry of how they represented the DC universe and the management of some executives. I'm not sure if a lot of the executives are bad, but mainly they've mostly been focusing on stuff that's kind of crap. But I do have so much respect for Warner Brothers. They made Looney Tunes, and their animation department is kind of dying. After the Lego Movie 2, they're kind of done. They're basically just trying to get something for money to turn a profit. It's no more than that. But that's not the focus of this video. Today's video is going to be talking about the history of this work that me and Josh do, and others on this list. Our story begins back in 2017, or 2016 if that matter. I came up with a character named, well, here's a picture known as Game Boy. And well, this is where it all starts. And the way how this all happened was that basically I came up with the idea of a superhero named Game Boy. A design of this girlfriend was based on a design by an artist known as Harley Quinn 141. Art is really good. I kind of stole design, but I'm not really saying I stole it. Like it was inspired by it and the design, so I basically tried to do it my own style. I like that character design. I also should just porn. Oh wait, she did pictures on DeviantArt. That's even worse, but still. Okay, I like the design. It's pretty good. So anyways, what happened was that basically after all this I started developing more characters. Then 2017 or 16 came around and I met Josh. We were both in school and basically me and Josh didn't really get along at the start. We basically just ignored each other. But then after I heard that he had a YouTube channel, I basically said, hey cool, I have one as well. I just started YouTube back in 2016. I wanted to become a YouTuber. My channel Batfan was kind of cool. I'd even deleted all the videos based on Game Boy, which was based on the superhero that I made, and just focused on Max. Max was a puppet I got for my birthday in 2016, and basically I wanted to get one after seeing Puppet Steve. I like puppets a lot. Puppets are very interesting characters, and I love the Muppets as well. But as this all happened, I just started developing more characters. I started making Max the show back in 2016, and basically it was fun to make. Then, after all that, I also met some other people. Let's just get into Josh's story. Josh had been a YouTuber for quite a while, and then after me basically joining the platform, me and Josh became a strong friendship. Our friendship had lasted, and basically other things had happened. I met this boy named Scott, who now has a channel known as Gaming 2.0, 2.8, I believe. But he basically makes videos about, nowadays he makes live stream videos of video games where he doesn't even show his face. But the original Scott that I knew didn't do that. He did videos like well live stream, oh, not live streams. He did videos like Zach the Show and Goosebumps videos. He loves Goosebumps. That's something that me and him bonded over since we like Goosebumps. There was also Gleason. Gleason was like, he had a YouTube channel, but he hasn't uploaded in a long time. Me and Gleason have been friends for a long time. And then there was Rory. Rory was a good friend of ours. Our relationship's kind of tender, our friendship. And basically there was so many more. As we go through this, me and Josh were planning on making a film called Rerun of the Glitch after basically making so many glitch films. The project fell through though for some reason. But we were happy to still be friends. After all this, I graduated my school, and then basically I never got to see my friends for about a few years. Then in 2018, Josh calls me up and basically says, do you want to be a part of the cinematic universe I'm developing? While I was doing this, I started drawing comic books of this Game Boy and all that. And basically I included Josh in them. And then I kept developing more characters like Nintendo Kid, The Potato, and Film Kid. And basically Film Kid and me. This is basically the characters that I've created for a long time, and I like working with them. They're really, really cool characters. But this is where basically something interesting happened. When Josh called me up, I was totally ecstatic. I was so excited to be a part of this project because I'm such a big fan of basically more cinematic universes. This was basically at the time when I used to like Marvel, but I liked him. I have been basically working in this Joshverse, which we called it, and still do, to this day. I do actually kind of model it after the DC universe because I like DC more than Marvel. Marvel's just kind of bland for me, but I do have to admit their films can be good. But I mainly am focused on DC. For instance, here's the comic books I have recently: Hellblazer, reviewing it, and watching it. But then we get into this. We had been developing the first two films, Josh was directing them. Then I started directing them. And basically, this is where we're all caught up now. Me and Josh have been working on many projects recently, and we're still our best friends. We've also been working on our separate channels. Oh yeah, another thing happened. Back in 2017, my last video on Batfan happened. The reason it was the last video was because basically my iPad, which I usually record the videos in, fell into the bathtub, and basically I could not upload a video on that channel anymore. Then I decided to start up basically known as Movie Maker Studios, based on my idea of a studio company. I basically uploaded the episode, the last episode of season 2 of Max, which was called Puppet League, which was supposed to come out in 2017, but I had trouble editing it and basically trying to commit all this big thing into a story. After all this happened, I started to basically edit the channel. Some of my old videos are quite crap on Batfan, and I have to admit I'd rather forget about them. That's why I want to end Max this year, because when you get involved in the show, you have to watch the other seasons, and it isn't very good to watch. So yes, and basically what's happened was that now I work on this channel. I also set up another channel for Dylan, and there's Madhouse. It hasn't really uploaded that long, but I did upload some new videos recently for it, known as Retrotron. Retrotron was the second idea that I came up with, and I wanted Dilbert to be in control, but he doesn't want to, so I just rather say it's Dilbert's show, so yeah. Another thing is that basically I have been working on other stuff, working on comic books, and I've been trying to make an indie film. I've been trying to do this for a long time. I've been doing it since 2018, and basically all the way from 2019 into the last year. Last year during COVID, we had trouble making films. Back in 2019, I decided to write the next Joshverse film, Doomsday, which was based on the idea of a time machine. After all this, me and Josh had been working on many films. We were supposed to do one called Unlocked, but I decided to cancel that. I've mostly been working on comic books, basically getting blank comic books and basically stories in them. Problem is, I cannot even get an entire story into one. Someone could write an entire graphic novel, but I could never manage to fit an entire story into one book. I know I can, but basically they're really short. Other things that happened is basically recently, since COVID happened, we had to basically edit some things down. There's two sides of the Joshverse films. There's the side with basically Doomsday and Ferrando Island and the end, and then there's my side, which has got Max and the Max movies and basically the Puppet League. Two sides of this story shall complete, and basically since 2020, me and Josh did start filming the Puppet League, but the problem was that when we were filming it, this was only just a few months, well, like a month before. I believe this was in April, actually. I don't know, but we were filming the film, and then Josh's dad, Ryan, gave me the hard drive to edit the film. Problem is at the ending. I will probably try and upload the original ending, but you can kind of see why I changed it. And this was also during a phase. But anyways, the next point. And then basically I had to make Getting Stranger. The problem was that Getting Stranger was a big project. And basically I had to film it all. So I filmed House in the Woods, and then basically I edited it all in basically Windows. Problem was that my old computer that I used to edit the Puppet League and all the Max stuff has been basically. I tried to check my computer and basically get onto Windows Movie Maker. Turns out the computer restarted and there's nothing there. There is no internet. There's no Firefox. There's no Windows Movie Maker. There's nothing except for files. But yeah, I couldn't edit the film that way. I even tried to get a new editor to basically edit the film, but you had to pay for it at the end, and I couldn't figure out how to export the film. So that was just kind of a waste of time. I've managed to find a way to edit using Windows and my new school. I managed to edit it in about a few minutes. I edited the entire film and then basically put it on a hard drive. Gave it to Josh to add in special effects and all that. Then we released it onto the world. The next project we're working on is called Before, which is an anthology film that's also a prequel to basically explain stuff. And me and Josh shall direct 2 halves of it. We were going to make another project called Headless, but we've kind of lost interest in that. Don't worry, ladies and gentlemen. Josh has basically said that he shall be working on a Glitch project as his final film. This shall be his final film directing. And if people actually watch the films that we make, you might don't mention that basically I direct more of the films in Josh's universe than he does. Yeah, that's just something we don't bother about. But anyways, that's where we're all caught up to now. And basically we are working on 2 other projects. Another one going to be directed by my best friend John Lyle. You may know from Jam. And that is basically the Dumbass Patrol. This is no continuation of the Suicide Squad, by the way. This has nothing to do with that. Sort of. But basically, it's basically just this kind of like side story that I'd like to introduce more characters into the Joshua's film universe that are in the TV shows. And also a sequel to the Puppet League that shall have Darkseid in it as the villain. So yes, that's our next projects. And don't worry, we shall be doing it. Don't worry, we shall be doing our films this year. But, besides that, we shall be working on other things. I just wanted to catch you up. By the way, let's get back to the Scott character. I met Gleason and basically like talked. Gleason wants to be in these Joshua's films and I promised him I would get him in them. And I definitely am going to get him in these films now. Especially next year. Another one that I also met, Rory. Rory has been shy and basically hasn't uploaded a lot of videos, but I am happy to see him. Basically we have talked for quite a while and basically we have had some good talks. Now here we go into Scott. Scott, like, me with this, but I might as well just explain. I did want, if you have seen some videos that I did back before Getting Stranger was released, I mentioned how basically how I was going to get Scott into the film as Zach, as the original voice actor. But the thing was that he had some trouble, and I don't really think he wants to do the role anymore. And I respect him, but if he is ever open up to basically starting these films again, you need to come on by and basically talk. Josh and I are still working on other projects, and basically the last film I have made outside of the Joshverse was Greenfield. A film that is kind of like a Cornetto trilogy sort of thing to this thing of the Creature trilogy, which includes Deadline and like The Incoming and all that. And it's basically just this whole trilogy thing I used to do. But anyways, me and Josh are still doing on other projects, so just to mention that. So yeah, I hope we'll see you in the next video, and subscribe to Move Maker Studios. No, don't subscribe to it. Subscribe to Mega Geniuses. So yeah, I guess we'll see you on the next video. Adios.